wanted to check the story out because a fellow VTuber sent out this tweet. Hold on, check this out. Uh, you guys check it out. Nanasu Anone. Really good. She does really good stuff, like way better than what I do. But anyways, check this out. She sent out this tweet. I'm gonna have to translate a bit. Went inside neutral grounds for the first time because my mom and I got curious. And the moment we went inside, I felt like I got punched in the nose by the smell. And she's now asking, is it really like that there? And anyways, the thing is, what she's saying is that she got assaulted by the smell of the patrons inside because hold on. If you guys will check, it's March 8th, right? That's like on a weekend. So definitely the MTG crowd was there. And I was like, oh man, I know that place. Alright, I've been to that place. I have friends there. And I was just talking to their community manager like last week. And unfortunately, or it's sad enough that I bet you that at least the staff here are like full of women. Like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are at least 5 girls that work this place and only one dude. So yeah. Yeah, I'm so sorry she had to go through this, but yeah, it's a sad state of affairs with regard to some of the tabletop communities, not only in our little island, but in other places. So I guess we have to face the truth that these are the people that are actually into this nerd stuff. But hopefully, somewhere in the future we will improve, especially in terms of hygiene and stuff. Anyways. Oh yeah, there we go. 3, 2, 1. The bizarre scandals of nerdy conventions.
From furry ball pits to TwitchCon spinal injuries
Ow.
and stalkers at anime expos, tournaments and conventions have been hosts to a wide range of scandals over the years. And yeah, you guys might know the big ones,
Emiru got attacked in the last TwitchCon. This guy tried to glom on her. That was glomping, right? I mean, I remember back in the early days, there was this thing as glomping, where people would literally dive into other people. I mean, the guy didn't dive on her. The guy just tried to hug her or something. But the thing is, you don't, touch. You keep and when you're in a con like this, when you're in an expo like this, keep your hands to yourself. And always ask permission if you want to take a picture. Say, hi, mind if I take a picture? Mind if I take a selfie? That's how you do this. Alright? Always ask for permission. Like, just because this particular cosplayer is having her picture taken, and then you ask for permission first. Alright? Keep your hands to yourself and always ask for permission.
Today, I've got an obscure collection for you. The Missing Magic Cards. Welcome to Gen Con.
That was March 8th, right? She was probably referring to the MTG crowd because I know for a fact that on the weekends, that particular LGS is all about TCGs, trading card games. So that's Fab Armory, that's Magic the Gathering, and then what else? Cookie Run, and then other stuff. As for the tabletop stuff that usually happens on their Multiverse Wednesdays. So yeah.
It's North America's largest tabletop gaming convention. This is a Magic the Gathering enthusiast dream come true. Every year,
I want you guys.
Here, thousands of players and fans collide in an orgy of card trading, dueling.
That was just a sad way to describe it. In an orgy of
merchandise shilling and erotic cosplaying.
There we go.
At these
always ask for permission. Keep your hands to yourself.
Events, not a stick of deodorant can be found, but kinship and friendly folks are aplenty. Well, with the exception of Gen Con 2023. The heist. The date was August 2nd, one day prior to the commencement of Gen Con festivities at the Indiana Convention Center in Indianapolis. Convention hosts and attendees were busy setting up the show floor, and many vendors scurried about, putting together their booths and stocking them with cards and merchandise. The day progresses without much of a hitch until one of these vendors notices something missing. A vendor representing Pastime Comics and Games, an Illinois-based games outfit, had briefly stepped away from constructing their booth setup, only to come back finding that an entire pallet stacked to the brim with the stock of Magic the Gathering cards was missing. A hoard of sealed collectible cards supposedly worth $300,000 in retail value. John Temple, the manager of Pastimes, suddenly found himself missing a home's worth of assets in a matter of minutes. Despite their name, Magic cards don't whimsically disappear into thin air, and Jason Temple quickly came to the conclusion that somebody must have stolen them. But how does a giant pallet, a block of cards like this, just suddenly go missing without no one noticing?
It doesn't.
The
it's not
distraught
supposed
game
to.
store manager went to the police over the matter, who promptly opened an investigation into what had become the biggest trading card theft in history. And what police later uncovered in their inquiry was a crime of brazen stupidity the likes of which had never been witnessed in the world of geeky collectibles.
What happened
Several days after the festivities of Gen Con had concluded, police discovered security footage from the venue, showing two men rather conspicuously hijacking a pallet of wrapped Magic cards that belonged to John's company, leisurely moving these cards through a hotel connected to the event venue, and then into that hotel's parking garage. The Magic Marauders then loaded the stolen booty into the back of a 2023 Nissan.
So they simply walked away with it. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised that their whole thing, or, this heist worked. For the simple reason that, you know what? It's a busy event. You don't know who's who. You don't know what's what. 1,000 people walking around, and you know what? You're busy doing your own thing. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they know, like, no one would have noticed, or no one, bothered to notice that, these people were walking away with some stolen stuff. Because who would notice something like this?
Murano, a getaway vehicle that was later spotted driving away from the Gen Con venue with said Magic the Gathering boxes visibly sticking out of the back of it. The most baffling thing to come from this surveillance footage was the confirmation that these thieves literally did just walk up with the pallet jack in the middle of a crowded showroom.
I mean, again, not surprised that it worked. There's no great mystery to it. Everyone's, too busy doing their own thing. No one knows, no one's aware of what everyone else is supposed to be doing. So yeah, why would you stop, two guys with a pallet full of boxes? Why? There's no point. It doesn't arouse suspicion. There's no probable cause to stop, two guys just walking around with a pallet full of boxes.
And steal it with absolutely nobody noticing what was happening. I mean, if you try to do this...
No. I mean, I know he's trying to make it sound like, it's just some sort of a heist, that everyone had a lapse of judgment, but no. If you've ever been to any of these cons, to any of these expos, no one would definitely notice. Right? It's like these bunch of guys, all they had to do is carry a vest, a reflective vest, and they started redirecting traffic. And there's this one guy, all they had to do was carry carry a ladder, and then they would get into these events. So yeah.
Walmart, you're gonna leave that place with 2 felonies and a black eye. An employee from John Temple's game store remarked on the absurd surveillance findings. Quote, the amount of either courage or bluffing skills that someone would have to just walk into
it doesn't even require skill. They literally just loaded up these boxes, and then they walked away. Because they're confident in the fact that no one would know with the amount of people, there's 1,000 people walking around too busy doing their own stuff, that they were simply going to walk away with it.
On and take a pallet and no one stops them. I don't think anyone I know would have the nerve to go in and do that. Well, buddy, it appears that's exactly what happened. And while the mystery culprit's lackadaisical approach may have been successful in stealing the Magic the Gathering palette,
No, they wouldn't
it
get
wasn't
away
so
with it.
effective when it came to liquidating the palette for cash.
I mean, that's the other thing. They would have reported this entire thing missing. And anyone and everyone that has anything to do with that palette, anyone who did a piece of that card, they will be arrested for fencing stolen goods.
The big break in this case occurred several weeks after the heist, when a New York-based attorney got into contact with the Indianapolis police, claiming he was representing a client who had recently purchased a pallet filled to the brim with Magic cards. Probably just a coincidence, right? The client bought this pallet from some admittedly shady individuals for $4,000, a price he thought was a total bargain.
See, that was the whole thing. If you guys noticed, right? $300,000, and then they had to sell it down to like 4,000 because that's not the jackpot. You're not gonna get away with this, especially on a high-profile case in which everyone knows something that big got stolen. Who's gonna buy it? What was the name of that film? The one with the blind guy protecting his house. The fence told the thieves, you know what? If you want money, then steal money. Right? I'm not gonna pay. I'm not gonna pay for a stolen Rolex at market price. No one's going to pay, for a stolen Magic the Gathering card at market price.
That was until he later saw the news and realized the pallet that he had purchased was likely the infamous missing one from Gen Con. Not wanting to be implicated as, one of the Gen Con thieves, that's when the guy got in touch with the lawyer, resulting in the call to police. On August 25th, the man's attorney invited the police to his office, wanting to show them his client's hoard of...
Good plan on his part. Now, yeah, he's gonna turn himself in, but no, I'm gonna lawyer up first.
Potential trading card contraband. Cops would come in and search the comically sized pile of merchandise, which consisted of 115 boxes of Magic the Gathering cards, along with Dungeons and Dragons books and guides. A trove of collectible goodies that matched up with exactly what John Temple was missing from Gen Con. Using information given from the sap who purchased the pallet along with additional forensic research, the two suspects were identified soon after. Those individuals being 40-year-old Thomas Dunbar and 41-year-old Andrew Giam. So the Gen Con thieves had finally been busted, but the big question that remained was, how did our ginger friend and his swab associate here have badges and access to the convention floor during the...
Nothing! Here's the thing, no one's going to look that closely. Just print them out. That's going to be what, the second or third day of the con? So you'd probably notice what the ID looks like. Just print something out of the same color. No one's going to look closely.
Exclusive period to begin with. You might imagine that they used some inside connection to sneak into the place, or perhaps pilfered some badges off of someone else and slipped by security with false credentials. Well, while not quite that dramatic, the truth of the matter is certainly far more ridiculous and stupid, and on top of that, if you can believe it, these two guys were actually vendors themselves. Thomas and Andrew were surprisingly somewhat well known in the tabletop gaming scene, the two being responsible for developing and merchandising their own tabletop game called Castle Assault, which is an RPG tower defense tabletop. A game that was rather hilariously funded by a sum of $30,000 generously awarded to them from other kind-hearted tabletop community members in a viral Kickstarter campaign in 2016. These guys have a lot of nerve taking that pallet. I mean, talk about giving back to the community. Jesus. The two gained early access to Gen Con as many other vendors did, with them being there under the premise of promoting their tabletop game, though it seems as though there may have been some sort of premeditation involved, as they actually registered for their badges under the aliases Scott Fisher and Ashriel Lockhart. Either they were engaging in some high-level IRL role-playing, or perhaps they had a specific illegal plan in mind and didn't want to be identified later. I mean, Ashriel Lockhart? That sounds like something I would name my fucking paladin on Baldur's Gate. With early access to the convention, they had free reign to muck about while everyone was getting ready, and they just so happened to stumble upon John Temple's unattended magic card palette, with a pallet jack attached to it.
And then they had like what, a light bulb moment? Oh yeah, maybe we could just walk away with this. And they did. That's it.
And, well, the rest is history. When cops finally got him, they looked at their fellow officers and said, "Just like the good old days, boys. It's time to shove some nerds in a locker." In early September of 2023, both Thomas and Andrew were arrested and charged with felony theft. They were facing 6 years in prison and $10,000 in fines at the time. In May of 2025, Thomas Dunbar pled guilty to a lesser charge and was sentenced to 2 years of probation and was ordered to pay restitution to Alec Hochman, the president of Pastime Games,
And
along
Wizards of
with
the Coast.
$27,141 to Wizards of the Coast. 40 hours of community service was tacked on to all of this, and the man was also compelled to write an apology letter to the Gen Con community. Andrew Giam is still making his way through the court system and has a trial date set.
I mean, not bad though. I mean, wait, what are we doing? Oh, okay. What happened? Oh, wait. Sorry, my bad. Anyways, not bad though. I mean, they got away with it with probation. I mean, they're gonna have that's gonna be on their permanent record. But
set for July of 2025. It's impressive to me how half-baked this heist was and how close they were to actually getting away with it fully. I mean, the balls on these dudes to just stroll out with the fucking pallet, bro, and then later try to sell the cards. That takes a special kind of idiot. Though even dumber is the subject of our next story, an individual who went to jail over a dispute regarding a convention seat. It's a story that involves Comic-Con, an ink pen, Seth Rogen, and somebody's eyeball. The Comic-Con eye stabbing incident. The date is July 24th, 2010, around 5 p.m. Location, Hall H inside San Diego Comic-Con. The room was packed to the gills. About 6,500 people were inside, and everyone was there for the star-studded movie panels taking place throughout the day. And you'll never guess what the most hyped and anticipated panel was. It was for the movie
for Paul.
Yeah, the
Wait, what
movie
year
where
was
Seth
this?
Rogen plays an alien that escapes Area 51 and smokes weed and cusses.
You guys partake?
As a panel for the latest
Why not?
Resident Evil movie was nearing its end, Seth Rogen and the cast
Michael
of Paul
Scofield.
were set to take the stage. And you know, this
Mila
is the era
Djokovic.
of like peak Pineapple Express knocked up Seth Rogen. So the crowd starts going nuts and there's something of a struggle as additional people enter the hall to try to get a seat. Things quickly get violent. A scuffle breaks out as two men try to get a front row seat for the iconic Rogan laugh. And when words don't solve the dispute, one of these men produces an ink pen from his pocket and with swordsman-like precision stabs his right.
Why does he know to call it an ink pen? What type of other pen is there?
Rival Rogan enjoyer directly in the eyeball with the pen. With the Comic-Con combatant
Wait.
wounded, shocked attendees nearby step in and break up the two. You know, I have to say, a guy getting stabbed in the eye at the end of a Resident Evil panel seems rather fitting. The maimed Paul enjoyer is then taken out on a stretcher and sent to the University of California at San Diego Hospital, where he was treated for a
What?
laceration to his eyelid. Thankfully, he wasn't permanently blinded from the stabbing. The pen-wielding attacker, who went unnamed in reports, was subsequently arrested and charged with assault. The man was seen wearing a Harry Potter shirt as he was escorted off of the
Undesirable
premises and to
number
jail
one.
by police. In a
Wait,
video
that's
which
not a bad shirt! Hold on. It's not a bad shirt. I honestly, wouldn't mind having one. Harry Potter undesirable number. Hold on, we're just gonna Google it, right?
I previously would assume to have been lost media, a man actually recorded the scene at Comic-Con as the attacker was being escorted away. The videographer is initially confused at what's occurred, but others in attendance progressively fill him in on what happened as the footage goes on. Take a look.
So Hall H is actually closed. That's why these people are booing. Oh, I guess. Oh, he got arrested for something. I don't know. Anyway, something happened. But anyway,
Yeah.
Hall H is closed. So, where's Crystal? What's going on here? What happened?
Some guy got arrested.
For what?
I don't know. He was over there in cuffs for a while.
Tell me what happened to Hall H.
Apparently there's a health emergency and Hall H is closed indefinitely.
And so basically, the guy in there stabbed
The guy
somebody?
who
I've never seen, because most of the cons I go to are anime cons, so never seen violence in one.
was getting walked away in handcuffs who
Yeah.
had blood on his shirt, stabbed somebody in the Hall H in the Resident Evil
just like some random person.
Yeah, I don't
In a
know. That's all I
Resident
know.
Evil like thing.
What happened was that that man stabbed another person in the face with a pin over a
You know, that is so accurate. Because if something like this happened during a con or during an expo, stories and rumors would fly off the rails. And you know what? The real story would be covered in bull crap. But this is actually, but you know what? Yeah, good for them. They actually managed to get the story straight. You know, someone got stabbed in the face.
in the Resident Evil panel.
Although not specific, it was correct that someone got stabbed in the face.
At Hall H at Comic-Con.
Eventually, Hall H would open back up and the panel for Paul would commence. And while I can't find any footage of cast members or Seth Rogen addressing the stabbing incident, in a subsequent panel for the first Avengers movie, Robert Downey Jr. does make a quip regarding it. Based Reddit moment.
Don't anybody stab anybody anywhere until I'm done talking.
The following day, Comic-Con's marketing and PR director would make a statement to a journalist regarding the attack, further clarifying what happened during the incident.
What did happen?
Yesterday with the incident, Resident Evil was stabbing.
Yeah, there was an incident in the Hall H in between panels. From what we understand, two friends got into an altercation. And
Oh, they were friends. All right, definitely made it worse.
the police were there very quickly. Security was there very quickly. Shut it down. I think the whole thing took about 40 minutes from the time it started to the time we were able to go ahead and resume programming.
That was
in
quick.
there.
From what I understand, the
quick.
victim of the stabbing made a full recovery, and the rest of Comic-Con went on without a hitch. The incident going down as a landmark case of criminal activity, at least in terms of Comic-Con. Was it worth all of that for a fucking Seth Rogen meet and greet, my dude? He just needed one laugh. It was fucking worth it.
So we've got a patient with an ink pen jammed into his eye down the hallway, so I won't keep you too long here. Finding a healthcare provider can be a stressful process, and I think we can all relate to that uneasy feeling of going in blind to a doctor you've never met before that you found on a Google search. ZocDoc can help you here. ZocDoc is a free website where you can search and compare high-quality providers, helping you weed through the uncertainty and make a more informed decision. And even better, with ZocDoc, you avoid the secretaries and phone calls and can make an appointment right there on the site. Useful
Definitely
filters allow you to
necessary.
see if providers accept your insurance, and you can also filter by distance and providers who have been rated by verified patients. You'll also see a provider's full listing of available appointments, making it a rather leisurely process to go on there and book something. Usually you can lock in an appointment 24 to 72 hours out, but in some cases you can actually get a day of appointment with ZocDoc. It really is the best way to see a provider on a whim. ZocDoc has over 100,000 providers in its network, and they cover the specialties too, from dental, skin, eye, you name it. This is great for if you just have like a one-off issue, say you got like a rash on your skin or something and you want to get a dermatologist. You can go on ZocDoc and find a specialist easily. So stop putting those doctor's appointments off. Go to ZocDoc.com/wavywebsurf to book an appointment with a top-rated provider today. Now, I've got an ink pen to remove. Yeah, just get the forceps ready. We'll yank it out.
Good
Eye
one, good
stabbings
one.
would only be the beginning of absurd violence taking place at Comic-Con. Next, we move to one of the most infamous cases, involving a man plowing over a parade of zombie walkers. Deaf man runs over zombie role players. On July 26, 2014,
Was there some sort of a misunderstanding? That he wasn't aware that this whole thing was some sort of a convention? Was merely some sort of cosplay?
in San Diego Comic-Con's Zombie Walk event was underway. The event is self-explanatory.
Yep.
Folks dress up like zombies, group up together, and stagger about in the street outside of Comic-Con, making the place look like a scene
Yeah,
out
it
of
sounds like a
Walking Dead,
misunderstanding.
or like one of the good early seasons. However, one motorist on the road apparently didn't get the memo about Zombie Walk. 48-year-old Matthew Pachi was on his way with his girlfriend and some family members to Comic-Con, approaching the venue right as the Zombie Walk was taking place. Matthew, who I should note is deaf, at some point got confused as to where he was supposed to go and ended up driving into the area where the zombie walkers were romping about. The deaf driver, unable to pass through the crowd, gets frustrated and starts laying on his horn in an effort to get him to move.
Ah, they had a video of it.
Naturally, this upsets the walkers who are rightfully occupying the intersection for the scheduled event. Agitated, some of them begin banging on his vehicle, and when two zombie-dressed men jump on the hood of his car, the driver loses his composure and plows over the walkers.
Oh! Did someone get hurt? Did someone seriously get hurt? I hope no one
Matthew's
did.
freak out sent multiple people flying. One woman was seriously injured, thrown to the ground with a broken
bad.
arm, and
That's
blood was
bad.
reportedly flowing from her body. The man drove for a few more blocks until eventually calming down and thankfully stopping before anyone else got injured. Police quickly approached and detained him. At the time, cops didn't charge Matthew, but after viewing the footage, he was arrested and hit with one felony count
deliberate.
of reckless driving. Upon being arrested, the deaf man told police, quote, "I don't understand what the big deal is. Isn't this what happens to zombies in the movies?
Yeah,
they get
not
ran over
cool,
and
man.
crushed by cars."
Not cool, not funny at all. I mean, he's trying to be flippant or nonchalant about this whole thing, but it's not cool.
I was only contributing to the realism of the event.
Yeah,
I'm kidding,
no,
don't
not
sue
funny.
me. In court, the obvious question was if Matthew, a hearing-impaired man, was genuinely confused and in fear for his
No,
safety
he's
when
not,
being
because
crowded.
the mere fact that he's cracking a joke like that means he knows what was happening. He is fully aware. He had discernment over his actions. He's cracking a joke.
By the zombie walkers and plowing over them. If that was the case, his culpability would be reduced.
There we go.
Matthew testified in court, claiming that he was in fear while stuck in the crowd. Here he is in court signing his explanation for his actions.
The punching of the windshield, everything that was happening in the car.
No, he
I just
instigated
felt
this entire thing instead of exercising patience. I mean, deafness does not equate to any form of mental misunderstanding or mental deterioration. He had discernment. He knew what he was doing.
car door open on the passenger side. My wife screamed because the back, there was, somebody was against the door, and we panicked and we just went forward. A bump, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was the curb.
He did express remorse for the woman who was injured, signing to the court this message of sympathy.
Honest, I
No.
could not get her off my.
No, actually, that was it. If he was able to crack a joke like that, he's only sorry that he got caught. He's not sorry that he hurt people. He's only sorry that he got caught.
Mind.
On November 4th, 2015,
There
the
we
jury
go.
found Matthew guilty for his crime, and he was facing
Because the thing is, he was laying on the horn. In other words, he wasn't exercising patience. All he had to do was to simply wait out the procession, wait out the march, and then, move on with his day. But no, he decided to lay on the horn because he believed he had the right. Because, for some reason, he just wanted to get through. So yeah, they had the video footage of it, of what he did. So yeah, thankfully he was found guilty.
up to 3 years in prison. However,
You just don't
some
go
legal
around hurting people just because you were pissed off or you were having a bad day. Keep your hands to yourselves.
leniency was shown by the judge given his remorse and the circumstances regarding his hearing impairment. On December 11th, 2015, Matthew was sentenced to 3 years of probation, 60 days of home confinement, and 120 hours of community service.
Not bad, I
Cosplayers
guess.
may have been the victims in the zombie walk story, but in our next case, a group of furries banded together and went on the attack. Furries beat the shit out of a domestic abuser.
You know what? Good for them. I remember there was this incident that went viral about Santa Claus and a bunch of his elves helpers. Basically, Santa Claus started beating up this guy out of nowhere, and apparently the kid who came up to Santa, I think it was a female child. The victim was female. That she wanted that her stepdad, the guy that was with her, to stop hurting her or touching her inappropriately. So what Santa so the Santa got some of his elves, and they started to beat the crap out of that guy. Anyways, I honestly don't know if that's true, but you know what? The whole thing went viral as a meme.
Con is an
And he was shouting, ho ho ho, mother fricker.
Furry convention held in San Jose, California, where thousands of furry enthusiasts flocked to masquerade as their animal avatars. While typical headline stories about furries involve pedophilia or animal abuse,
I was like, the party was lit though.
This one actually has the furries shutting down an abuser. It all takes place on the evening of January 18th, just outside of the FurCon venue. Witnesses on the street reported seeing a car burning out and driving erratically in a hotel parking lot just up the road on South Market Street. The car then takes to the main road, and furries who were lingering about suddenly hear a woman screaming for help, yelling, "Get out, get out, get out." The vehicle parked close by FurCon, and that's when the group of furries saw that inside the vehicle, a young woman was in the driver's seat, and she was being beaten on by a male passenger, the guy punching her in the face.
I remember during my undergrad, I just finished my morning workout, and guy from another unit came up to me. Hey, Midnight, what's up, dude? Come on, we have to beat someone up. Follow me. What? Yeah, we have to beat someone up. Let's go. Apparently, there was this couple in another room, and they were a lesbian couple. And the thing is, I guess the butch or the man in the relationship was abusing the girl in the relationship by beating her up. So, anyways, the guy who invited me, come on, we have to beat someone up. Basically, we stepped over the door, and I was thinking the ethical ramifications of what we are about to do, because it's not the first time we beat someone up. But the thing is, this might be the first time that we were going to beat up a girl who was beating on another girl. She was the butch type. And apparently, this happens every now and then where she physically abuses her own girlfriend. And the thing is, I remember standing by the door thinking, is this really great? It's like, what's the ethics on this particular action? And thankfully, the beating stopped because when they found out that there was like a bunch of dudes by the door, waiting to come in and beat her up. So basically, the abuser stopped beating on her girlfriend, and the girlfriend being the girlfriend, met us by the door and told her that everything was fine, despite the fact that she had a busted lip and a black eye or something. But anyways, I just remember that time. But I came home from the gym that morning, and okay, man, we have to beat someone up. Come on in. I was just standing by the door, like, what is the what is the ethics of this action that we are about to take? We're going to beat up another girl. We were going to beat up a butch type who was beating on a girl type of lesbian. I mean, I honestly don't know how that was going to happen. There was a lot of lesbian stuff going on in that building. Okay, now that I think about it. I mean, that was also the same place where we found that knife-wielding lesbian during an after party. That was another story for another time. But anyways.
Multiple times. Little did this guy know he had picked the absolute worst place to domestic assault.
Yeah,
as these
there we
furries
go.
were no joke.
my whole life a bunch of Taekwondo and Shotokan karate.
Enraged, the animal pack swarmed the car, ripping the assailant from his seat and onto the curb. A person wearing a pink dragon fursuit subdues the...
They're gonna talk about this for a very long time. How you got your ass kicked by a bunch of furries.
Puncher, as others join in to take shots and restrain him.
Hey, no, Joe, no, Joe, stop!
I told you.
Joe.
She's safe now.
This is gonna be either the funniest or the saddest story in prison.
Oh, Joe.
Poor work by the cameraman, though. He should have kept it by the action.
It's reported that after getting the better of the woman beater, one of the furries sat on the man's body to keep him restrained as nearby animal assistants called police. The immense weight of the furry subdued the attacker for the time, and the woman who was assaulted drove off before police came.
I was able to grab him by the back, pull him out of the vehicle, and put him onto the ground.
The guy who had gotten his ass beaten by a group of furries was later identified as 22-year-old Dimitri Hardnett, and he was arrested and...
See, it's the whole thing. There was no ethical dilemma regarding beating up on a dude like this who was abusing a girlfriend. But what about a butch lesbian beating on her girlfriend? Would be the ethical? Because I remember standing by that door. It's like, is this right? Are we gonna get into trouble over this if people found out, or if the police found out that we beat up on a butch who was hurting her girlfriend? Anyways, comments please, because up until now, it reminded me of the entire situation. A lot of lesbian stuff going on in that building, honestly. I mean, I wonder if it's still there. I haven't been to the alma mater for decades now.
Charged with domestic violence after being taken to the Santa Clara County Jail. It was later determined the woman that the furry saved was this guy's girlfriend, though the matter of the dispute and what caused it, I have no idea. I think this is just some piece of shit that thinks it's okay to beat on a woman if you get in a disagreement.
Well, motherfucker, why don't you get beat up by some goddamn furries again?
Whatever the case, if you decide to be a piece of shit woman beater, you better not do it in front of the furries, because if you do, these guys will give you a humiliating reality check.
That's in humanity as well. I mean, I think it's also just sort of a natural thing to just want to help somebody in need.
The Roblox Developers Conference is an annual convention held at the Fort Mason Center for Arts and Culture in San Francisco. It's an invite-only professional event focused on Roblox developers, creators, and brands. Mikhail Olsen, known in the Roblox community as Sim Builder, is a famous Roblox community developer known for creating the Roblox Vehicle Simulator, one of the more notable player-developed games on the platform. Mikhail has been in the Roblox community since he was a child, joining the game back in September of 2008. But at the 2023 convention, he was about to become known for something far more concerning. It all begins outside of the RDC convention grounds when SimBuilder was confronted by police and abruptly arrested. Apparently, the children's game developer had attempted to access a restricted invitation-only event, and when refused by security, something of a dispute broke out.
Alright, I guess we should all be glad it wasn't, for something sordid. Because Roblox and the Discord is under fire right now for, well, people doing weird stuff with minors.
Resulting in police detaining him. Video footage of the seemingly unhinged kids game creator shows the moment he's being escorted away by police.
He's actually fighting the police right now.
He gets testy with the officers, resulting in him being taken to a squad car.
Piece of shit.
Dude, not cool.
Yes!
Here's the thing, you guys. If ever, whichever side you're on, and if ever you find yourself in a fight and the police are there, keep your mouth shut and let your lawyers do the fighting for you. Alright? There is no way to win. Fighting like that, with the police, you can't win. Right? There's no winning. Keep your mouth shut, down on the ground, the hands behind your head. Put your hands behind your back. Do that. And the only thing that should come out of your mouth is lawyer. Don't do that. Whatever happens, don't do that. That's the fastest way to not only get beat up, but also get additional charges stacked onto your bid. So keep your mouth shut, and the only thing that should come out of your mouth is lawyer.
Sim Builder's fighting the cops. Sim Builder's fighting the fucking Sim Builder's fighting the police.
Fighting the police.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, World
vehicle
Star!
was searched. Turns out Mikhail also allegedly had a concealed firearm in his vehicle and
that's
some
bad.
ammunition that was
That's taking it to the next level.
troubling to police. He was charged with having a
Concealed handgun.
firearm in a vehicle, leaving a handgun
You had dum-dum rounds, armor-piercing
unattended
ammunition.
vehicle, possession of armor-piercing ammunition,
Large
and
capacity magazine. It's an ATF.
large capacity
That's
magazine.
ATF, almost an ATF federal violation.
Sometime after this incident, Roblox convention staff canceled the head.
What was he doing with a gun? Was he trying to, be all, gangster or something? I mean, guys, we do tabletop, we do video games, we do internet stuff. Because it's like when painters, right? Miniature painters, when they try to clean brushes with their mouths, guys, we have what you'd call a very soft hobby. Like, you know what? You won't get cauliflower ears from these hobbies, alright? So, it's a soft hobby, just stick with it. No need to act or be tough. I mean, that's the whole thing, right?
Roblox Innovation Awards event, citing security concerns. Roblox itself was apparently pretty upset with our sim builder friend here. A few weeks after the gun incident, YouTuber Green Lego Cats 123 reported that Roblox had quietly terminated sim builder's Roblox developer account. His vehicle simulator was left up as a playable experience, but he was gone. Though because he was terminated, Mikhail would no longer receive any sort of revenue for his game, effectively meaning the guy had lost his job over this bizarre firearms possession and altercation with security. SimBuilder would stay in jail as his trial proceeded. Eventually, his charges were
no bail then.
Downgraded from a felony to a misdemeanor. And on September 13th, 2024, after
he definitely lost a lot of weight while inside the clink. Poor dude, he lost a lot of weight.
Pleading no.
But I mean, at this point, I guess we should be glad that it wasn't. I mean, his felony didn't involve diddling kids or minors.
Contest, he was sentenced to time that he had already served, spending a total of a year in county jail over this matter. On September 15th,
county jail, I guess I'm not really sure how that's better than federal prison.
2024, Mikhail from his SimBuilder Twitter account tweeted out,
do they have solitary in county? I mean, I doubt it, but
that the police had finally released him. At a glance, this story looks as if police had stopped a potentially dangerous shooter. But according to Mikhail, he had no such violent plan, and the whole thing was an overblown shakedown that ruined his life.
Yeah, but what was he doing with that kind of
on February
guns? I mean, with that amount.
February 21st, 2025, SimBuilder published a video to his Twitter.
I mean, if he had a wheel gun, like a 38, or your basic Glock, it would have been considered something as a self-defense implement. But does he have ops or something?
Telling his side of the story from this whole affair. He said that he had the gun because he felt like he needed protection while driving through Oakland, California. He also denied that he planned to attack the Roblox convention or anything, and said that he was going to be suing Roblox for
I mean, Jesus, was that reasonable? Is Oakland that dangerous? I mean, I know it's home of the Raiders. I mean, I know it's a dangerous place, but was it called for?
Wrongful termination if they didn't make this right.
First and foremost, I was invited to RDC 23. That is a fact. However, I arrived a day late without a lanyard. When I got there, I tried to show security who I was, providing proof of my account and identity. Despite this, they refused to listen. During this process,
Crime rate.
security discovered
Hold
a
on. Oakland, California crime rate is seeing the fewest in 2025. Way down, seeing the homicide. Wait, history. History of violence. Alright, high rates of homicide and violent crime, but it's going to a record low. Almost 22%. So yeah, gun violence. So I'm not really sure. I wouldn't know. I live in right now in our little island. I live in this city where supposedly has the highest level of crime in the country. Really not that bad. But then again, I have seen what happens in this place. So yeah. I mean, people have come away from this city with stories of. I was in 6th grade when I first watched a man bleed to death from a gunshot wound. Anyways,
single firearm in
I remember it that day. I remember we were just hanging out outside the school, waiting for the buses, and then we heard this bang, bang, and someone shouted, "Guys, someone got shot in the overpass!" And we for some reason, right? We have never seen someone get shot before, and we literally ran towards that ran towards that overpass, and there was a guy. The cops weren't there yet, and we were just like looking at the guy on the ground. And I remember, interesting. Guy was on the ground. He was still alive. His chest was still heaving, but he was wearing a white shirt, and we could see these little pinprick holes, these small like button size red stuff on his chest, and it started spreading. We could literally see the life coming out of his soul leaving his body or something, as the button sized red dots on his chest started spreading. Oh, and then I realized, those are the gunshots, and the blood is starting to come out of it. That's what it honestly reminded me of this video of the time lapse of a rose blooming. Like, it started as a small bud, and then it opened up into a beautiful rose or something. It reminded me of that. Like, there was a button-sized red stuff, red dots on his chest, and the blood started spreading. To me, it looked like that. That time lapse it reminded me of seeing that time lapse of a rose blossoming or something. But anyways,
my vehicle. It was a Glock 19, and let me be very clear. This was not an illegal or black market firearm. It was legally registered.
He gained weight again, so he lost weight in prison, and then he gained the weight back.
The state where I reside.
Definitely older now.
The reason I had a firearm in the first place is because
at this point, I'm just glad it had nothing to do with minors or something like what's happening to Roblox these days.
Oakland, California, nearby where the conference was being held. One of the highest crime rates in America. Carjackings, thefts, and violent crimes are a serious problem there. My decision to carry was purely for personal protection, not for anything malicious. I did not go to RDC to harm anybody. Some are claiming that I bought the firearm to assassinate the CEO of GameFam or commit an act of violence at RDC. This was completely false. Another rumor suggests that RDC was shut down because of me. This is also completely false. RDC was canceled due to online threats made on Twitter at the time, which had nothing to do with me. While I was locked away, Roblox took advantage of my absence to ban my account and strip me of my game and revenue from Vehicle Simulator. In my next steps, this entire situation, a massive injustice.
I doubt that this suit is going to work because a platform like Roblox, he would have been considered as an independent contractor that received royalties through his work. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna work, but I wonder what's the update on this one.
I will not stand for it. I am demanding that Roblox unban my account and return my game assets to me. If they fail to do so, or if they fail to disclose my studio hours, I will be pursuing legal action against Roblox for wrongful termination, IP theft, fraud, and damages caused by their decision to ban me unjustly.
In a reply to his video, SimBuilder also stated that he never hit or punched a police officer and that he wasn't charged with assault towards an officer, which is actually true.
Yeah, I mean, the list, his jacket was completely firearm related.
Stupid sad music behind your video is a great touch, by the way. Mikkel, I'm sure this is going to get you unbanned. The Roblox community is known to harbor its fair share of child predators, but did you know that professional bowling has a few pedophiles in the mix too?
Wasn't that in the film, the one with the dude? What was the name of that film? Hold on. The dude, there we go. The dude, Cohen and brother, the Big Lebowski, right? That he was playing in a league bowling. He was in a league bowling tournament, and the guy he was going against, the guy, with the weird way he was cleaning his bowling ball, was a sex offender or something.
For another tournament-related story, the bowling tournament pedo. 35-year-old Brandon Novak of Ohio was a notable bowler with many accolades in the sport, competing in professional bowling tournaments for a span of a decade. In 2016, he won the USBC Open Championship, and throughout his career had finished first in many tournaments, including ones taking place in 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2020. While Brandon is certainly well known for his bowling accomplishments, he's also rather infamous in the world of bowling tournaments for something else. That being the fact that he was arrested on live television for CP charges at an event. What you are seeing on screen now is a clip from the 2024 US Open, a prestigious
this is the US Open. This is no joke. This is like the US Open is a big deal.
Bowling tournament that takes place every year and is broadcasted on television nationally in the United States. Without context, this clip is unremarkable. What is remarkable about it actually takes place off screen to the right, as at this moment, Brandon Novak, bowling extraordinaire, is being arrested. You can see bowler Chris Prather.
Wait, this is about bizarre scandals of nerdy convention? So, bowling is considered nerdy? Really? Comments, please.
Sort of stepping aside and looking over at the man's detainment as the commentators do their best to not draw any attention to the bizarre circumstance.
No, it was great. Parker saw that what we were going through.
What was happening on the side?
Honestly, it was nice having Bolin next to Justin and having Parker there to talk to when I needed someone to talk to. And boy, there was some times when I needed someone to talk to, and we all know that this thing was really hard.
Turns out, several months prior to entering this tournament, Ross County, Ohio police had put out a warrant for the guy's arrest under suspicion of him possessing CP, allegedly sharing this material on Facebook. Authorities initially had difficulty in locating the man and making an arrest, but when they learned of his tournament attendance and him being there on live television, U.S. Marshals knew exactly where to find him. And at the tournament, they got their arrest. During interviews with police, Brandon would claim that he had purchased porn from someone on Snapchat and was unaware of the fact that there were nude images of children in it. However, he'd later recant that statement, saying that he was in fact aware of the illegal images and had taken steps to conceal them. Later that year, in April of 2024, Brandon would plead guilty to 15 CSAM-related charges, and in June of 2024, he was sentenced.
I don't know what that means, sorry.
I'm not aware of that jargon. 13 years and 3 months in prison. The man was also compelled to register.
That was bad in a sense that usually you'd get probation for stuff like this, but no, they actually threw the book at him that he spent like years in prison
as a tier 2
I mean, I'm honestly wondering with his gun charges, with SimBuilder's gun charges, why he didn't like walk away with probation. How he was how he spent like an entire jail. But then again, that was like a federal gun charges, ATF level gun charges.
Offender, which means he'll be on the registry for 25 years with no legal way to appeal
there we
this.
go.
Thankfully, when it came to this guy's prosecution, he wasn't spared. Another striking story is that of a guy who got busted with an assault rifle on the way to a convention. This takes place on January 25th, 2025 at the Whitechapel train station in London, England. Travelers became concerned after noticing a man outside of the train dressed in tactical military garb, brandishing and pointing around what appeared to be an assault rifle. Great! Another mass shooting. Someone got their phone out and recorded the would-be shooter who was seemingly preparing for something big. Now you might be wondering why nobody in the train station is freaking out. Well, big reveal. This guy was LARPing, and the AR was an airsoft replica. He was on his way to MegaCon, a Comic-Con style event taking place at the London Excel Center. And other people on the train were going there too, so, you know, they kind of were in the know of why there was a fucking Black Ops character doing emotes on the train. The British Transport Police later commented on the Twitter video that went viral. Every year around Comic-Con, we receive reports from people who have been alarmed by weapons being carried on the train.
Besides, it's Britain. Right? When they would get access to guns. It's like, oh, is that name of that comedian? Like, he was ragging on British gangster rappers. Like, you know, I killed people with my AK. Bang, 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 bang. Bro, you don't have an AK. This is London, England. Like, this is not like, you know, Oakland, California. You won't find AKs here, but you do find knives here.
Respond to every call we receive about a weapon. A police response can cause disruption and alarm to passengers, and if it's a prop, may mean that you've kept us away from more important incidents. For your sake,
shootings don't happen.
And that of everyone else on the train, no matter how unrealistic you think they look, please keep your prop weapons out of sight while traveling. Police later caught up with the airsoft-wielding man who was described as being from South London and in his 20s. They actually arrested him on a ridiculous charge called suspicion of possession of an imitation firearm with intent to cause fear or violence. And he also
I knew he was probably feeling himself that he thought he looked cool. I mean, he did, but yeah, it's, you know, bad call on his part, waving it around, you know, flashing it around. It's definitely gonna cause some level of alarm. He shouldn't have done that, right? He should have, you know, kept it in his bag. I mean, he looked cool enough with all the costume and everything, but he should have kept it in his bag instead of, you know, waving it around like that or flourishing it around like that.
Got another count of possessing an offensive weapon. The guy was later released on bail, and as far as I can find, I don't think he was criminally prosecuted in any serious...
they would have probably dropped it just to, you know, make a statement or, you know, make an example out of it. And don't be stupid and wave a replica around like that.
This way. And that concludes our investigation of obscure convention and tournament controversies. Make sure you let me know who or...
I'm not sure about the bowling part, though. How nerdy it's supposed to be.
What you want me to talk about next in the comment section? And I want to give a major shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys. wavywebsurf out. Peace.
Like it if you do, you guys. Alright. And subscribe. Emperor knows we need it. Bye.